of 7 News. As you would have heard, the coach of the Adelaide Crows, Phil Walsh, has been killed.
Walsh's 26-year-old son, Cy Walsh, has been charged with his murder. Reporter Jessica Adamson is at the scene in Somerton Park. Jess, what can you tell us?
Good morning, Jane and John. Phil Walsh's 26-year-old son, Cy, was charged with murder about an hour and a half ago. He's now undergoing a psychiatric assessment at the Flinders Medical Centre, and he is expected to face a bedside court hearing there later this afternoon. It was at about 2 a.m. that paramedics were called here to the Walsh family home in Bungie Avenue at Somerton Park. What they were confronted with was Phil Walsh with multiple stab wounds. Now, as police say, it is unclear what the argument was about, but sources close to the family say that Cy Walsh was suffering from depression, that he did have some issues that the family were trying to sort through. There had been some estrangement, but he had moved back in with the family in recent months. What we've seen here this morning is just an outpouring of grief. Young footy fans have been filing here, both Crows and Port Adelaide supporters, and laying flowers. No one can believe that a man with such a zest for life is no longer with us. Back to you.
Our reporter Jessica Adamson's at the scene. Jess, what's the latest?
Well, Jane, crime scene investigators are still inside the Walsh family home, and it's understood they will be here for some time. In the meantime, major crime detectives are asking the public for some help. They urgently want to hear from anyone who saw Phil Walsh's 26-year-old son, Cy, on Brighton Road in the early hours of this morning. They believe he was walking north along Brighton Road towards First Avenue, Glenelg East, and we now know that is the street in which police detained him. Between 1:45 and 2:30 this morning, they described Cy as 180 centimetres tall, with a thin build, spiky blonde hair, and he was wearing a dark top and dark pants with grey and brown Converse shoes. Now, I've been told police are also checking for security vision in businesses and premises along Brighton Road, just to piece together every part of this investigation. John.
Walsh's wife was also injured in the incident. Live now to Jessica Adamson, who's at the crime scene in Somerton Park. Good morning, Jessica. Phil Walsh's son has just been charged.
That's right, Anne. Good morning. Phil Walsh's 26-year-old son, Cy, was charged with murder a short time ago. He's currently having a psychiatric assessment at the Flinders Medical Centre here in Adelaide, and it's expected he will face a bedside court hearing later this afternoon. Now, paramedics were called here to the Walsh family home in Bungie Avenue at Somerton Park at about 2 o'clock this morning. What they were confronted with was Phil Walsh with multiple stab wounds. They did try to resuscitate him, but tragically they couldn't save his life. Phil's wife, Meredith, was also injured. She has a leg wound. We understand that is also a stab wound, and she is being treated also at the Flinders Medical Centre. Now, major crime detectives, a short time after coming to the house, they went to First Avenue in Glenelg East, which is just a few minutes from here, where they detained the Walsh's son, 26-year-old Cy, and he was taken into custody immediately. Let's have a listen to what Des Bray, the head of our major crime squad, had to say earlier this morning.
It's not even just that he's a high-profile person.
And are police saying anything more about the incidents which led to the death?
Well, Anne, Cy Walsh lived here at the family home, and police have told us that he came home at about 2 o'clock this morning and he had an argument with his father. It's unclear what the argument was about, but people close to the family have told us that Cy was battling depression and that he had some estrangement from his family in recent months. He had moved back into the family home, though, and they were trying to work through those issues. A short time ago, a group of detectives went to First Avenue and Glenelg East, where they are now door-knocking residents. They're really trying to work out the moments leading up to the alleged murder, and they're trying to talk to neighbours to see whether anybody saw anything or anybody heard anything. We'll bring you the latest from the bedside court hearing later this afternoon.
All right, Jessica Adamson, thank you very much.